that was putting together the lesson in Google Slides, why don't I just put the questions in there and use the exact same form? So the form just looked like this. Question 1, question 2, and question 3. And they were all required. Same form every single time. So they could bookmark that form. I had the short link to the form at the top of that screen so they could see it. And here's your YouTube tip for the day. You can insert a video on a YouTube video on your slide. I just did 2-minute timer. I found a 2-minute timer on Google Slides, and so the timer would count down while they were doing it. It's just inserting a video in the Google Slide, and you can do a search for 2-minute timer and go. So using the same form every day, it makes your life a lot easier because editing Google Forms can be kind of cumbersome. And this, you can use whatever form service you want to use to collect information. And you notice my form does have A through E. So this was a day that only had yes, no questions. But some days there'd be 5. So here's what I would get, and I could search by I can just look at the time period so I know exactly who filled it in during the time period. So you get this information, but you also want to provide feedback. We can do that with an add-on in Google Sheets called Formule. And I guess I lied. This is basically Google session. I didn't mean it to be. Formule lets you make customized emails that you can fill in on the sheet. So the responses that were here, see the student, I can see the question 1, 2, and 3, what they answered right there. I added another column with my response. So I could customize my response. More importantly, I could copy and paste my response. So I just had to come up with 2 or 3 different responses depending on how they answered the questions, and copy and paste that depending on how they answered the questions. And then Formule looks to see if my response is not empty, and it sends out the email with my response in it. So I would have to edit this with the question, but it would automatically my response. Makes it really easy. I could respond to hundreds of students very, very quickly, and they get a personalized email in their email. So Formule could be an hour session on itself. There's tons of videos out there that'll get you started. If you have any questions, let me know.
Did you put from Google Keep in the sheet? So you could and then drag and drop?
Yeah, you can drag them over from Google Keep too. That's what a big tip that people have said is store all of your responses in Google Keep, which is note-taking for Google, and then you can easily get those responses, use them in a Google Docs when you're responding, or other things. You can also use it here. The not null, so if it's blank, it's not going to send an email. Because some days I wouldn't respond. The questions didn't need feedback that day. So the spreadsheet gets pretty long because all the responses are in that spreadsheet. But it will only send out if I have something in my response. So I didn't have to worry about responding every day. I could do it how I felt needed to be responded, and it didn't matter that some forms were empty. RSS. Question I get asked a lot is, how do you keep up with all of this stuff? RSS, people say, is dead. Everybody gets their links from Twitter nowadays. It's not dead. There are so much services powered by RSS on the internet that will be here forever. RSS stands for really simple syndication. It's a way you can subscribe to a website and then you get posts whenever they post. So instead of checking, you have a favorite teacher, instead of checking their website every single day, did they post, did they post, did they post? You just check your RSS reader, and if they posted, there's a new article in there. The site that I had in my RSS reader all of a sudden started getting these posts about backyard barbecues and stuff you put in your backyard, and so I messaged the person that used to own it, and he had let the domain lapse. So I didn't even notice that he hadn't been posting anything until somebody picked up the domain and started posting on it. A good way to get started with RSS is Feedly. Feedly is free for up to 100. You can subscribe to up to 100 sites. They have an extension to make it easier to subscribe to 100 sites. Easy to subscribe to sites. And I forgot to open Feedly before we started. I am working on putting together, so the nice thing with RSS is your subscriptions file is totally cross-platform, totally open. If you don't like Feedly, you can export your subscription file and go to another RSS reader. There's no lock-in with any of the RSS readers because they all let you import and export your subscriptions file. So I started to work on putting together a subscription file with teachers, with administrators, so you have something to start with. Because starting out,